Welcome back, friends, and today I have a special video again with a special reading for a special friend and myself. So here we go. Today I'll be using the Deviant Moon Tarot and the Fallen Angels Tarot. Well, Fallen Angel Oracle. So, the question is, what is the outcome? What will the outcome be of a pact? And we're going to find out. I've already shuffled and warmed my deck. I will pull from the other deck as I feel inspired. I will often use my pendulum to charge my cards while I think about the question. Very good. Excellent. So, we'll do a regular 10 card spread. And we'll see where we get. So I will be asking the question, first of all, from my point of view. So what will happen if a pact is made? Now, if you take a good close look at what's just happened here, you're going to see that, you're going to see that these cards are almost coincidental to our last reading. There's a lot of cards from the last reading that have showed up now again. I would say we got 1, 2, 3, 4 cards that are very similar to our last pull. So let me do a quick look at each card. In my present position, the King of Pentacles, meaning, well, Knight of Pentacles, meaning very, what's the word I want to use here? I always associate pentacles with money, so that's a good one. Now, we talked before about this card, about wanting to explore new things. That's an interesting position for that card to be in. So, past influence is this card, which is the 8 of Cups. Turning away from an old arrangement and moving towards a new one. Subconscious influence. Someone who has tools to build and finds scraps and makes the most out of it. He is contemplating the reverse pentagram. The path to Satanism and dark magic. This is a subconscious influence. So working with the dark forces. Secret desires and wishes, the desire to manifest, the desire to patiently wait and watch things grow. Ace of Swords, events yet to come, which could signify winning in a situation or having force over a situation or battle. And this is actually the Hidden Forces position. So if the Hidden Forces is Ace of Swords for me, I am going to interpret that as there's a hidden force of war and battle in my favor. Events yet to come, we have an individual here, the Page of Wands. He has created a contraption to be able to cross the ice by using his inventive qualities. This is very related to this card, which is someone who's using tools and contemplating magic. I find it interesting that the card after this is the King of Swords. The subconscious environment, a feeling of, I would say for me, it's a feeling of being triumphant over past situations, overcoming money obstacles, overcoming enemies, everything. Influence on others, temperance. I've always been one to give advice and take advice well from others. So being tempered, meaning that I'm middle of the road. I don't make rash decisions, so I basically step back and look at how this would be in my favor. Spiritual force of the Empress. We talked about the Empress before, and you were labeled the Empress in my last reading. Final outcome being the Devil. This to me is highly significant, because what that means is obviously if I favor the dark path and the dark gods, and my desire is out of a desire to become more powerful and a desire to perhaps go even slightly darker in my magical methods. So I would say that yes, it would be a yes, and then we're going to go to the pendulum and we're going to ask questions about individual cards for clarity. So does the Devil card mean in this particular situation that it represents my attitude being one of being mischievous or wanting to do darker magic with a friend? See, a lot of magicians, they like to play with fire, and there's a big difference between someone who dares and someone who sits in a chair and thinks about doing what they need to do. I'm the kind of person where once I make up my mind to do something, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to follow it through with my whole heart, because I don't believe in doing something half-assed, and I know that you're the same way. And since that's coming through very strong, I think that my pendulum definitely is agreeing, because it's speeding up crazily right now. And just for you guys who aren't pendulum savvy, I relax my hand and I let my hand go in whatever direction it wants to. So right now it's giving me yes, meaning yes, positive. What you're saying is positive, we agree. If it swings towards me and away from me, that means it's a no. If it swings back and forth in 4 different directions, it's like a maybe, or you have other options. That's how I interpret my pendulum. It's a very powerful tool. I've had this for many years now, and it's one of my favorite things to use for magic. So we're going to go back to this card. Does this card represent my friend in our situation? Will the results of our pact be a positive one, and will we both be influenced and grow from it? Yes. A strong yes. Are the dark gods and spiritual forces that we are going to inevitably invoke going to grant us that which we seek? The hidden knowledge and forces that we wish to come in contact with to achieve our will. So I'm understanding now why the last reading was personal to me. It's because I was in a way connected to the future with the reading. So you can consider me a third party for the question you had asked before. So that means that inadvertently we have been chosen to do this work, is the way I'm interpreting it. Which is why so many of the cards have come back into play, which is why this card comes up in this position with you in particular, because of course you are an influence. And because the devil is in the last position, we're seeking to do darker things. We want to know more. We dare to know more. We're very rare in that we don't care about necessarily being a part of a clique or being cool. We just want to do our own thing, and at the same time we have a deep respect for what it is we're pursuing. So we definitely have no problem narrowing our path and making sacrifices, and the influence of each other will lead to doing naughtier deeds, which to me is very exciting. This represents my attitude in wanting to turn away from old methods and wanting to use new methods, because sometimes in magic we get stale, we stagnate, we get into a routine. It's a bit like if you do the same workout all the time, you don't get any different results because you're not changing it up. You have to change and challenge yourself. And what I'm seeing a lot with the swords being involved is the energy of war and the energy of protection and the energy of being willing to battle through situations, as we go from the past problems of having money that needed to be overcome to now saying, I realize I need to change and walk away. I am contemplating the dark forces and just figuring out how I can use them to my advantage. Patiently waiting and planting seeds, watching them grow and seeing what the result will be. Having the courage and knowledge of knowing that you are prepared for war or battle if we need to go into a situation where we need to do dark magic to protect ourselves or to eliminate others who have inadvertently got into the way of our path. When two people get together and work, their ingenuity and their ideas figure out ways together to get past an obstacle. And this is exactly what he's saying. He's saying, walking over ice with regular feet, you'll slip, but he figures out a way to get across it using his own invention of stilts. And I love that. King of Swords. I'm going to ask a question about the King of Swords. Does the King of Swords imply that if battle needs to be done with enemies that may try to challenge us, that we will overcome those challenges? Yes. Ooh, yes. Yes. Does the card Temperance refer to a balance of energy, meaning not too much energy on one side, but enough to get the job done, and being able to temper energy, meaning if we have too much dark energy, we know how to temper it with the opposite of it to keep us from losing our minds and keep us sane during these times of challenge. Because the important thing that I keep getting is that there's some kind of important work that needs to be done. And it's not something that I think either of us understand or maybe are even 100% prepared for, but it has to do with the personal alchemical transformation of our souls and becoming more powerful, and at the same time, power coming with humble and very well thought out methods of doing things. So it's, there's a difference between being bold and daring and being stupid and reckless. And this card to me says that that is part of it. So we have this in our favor, that influencing each other won't cause one or the other to go too far. It will be tempered with common sense, logic, and intuition. So now we can move on to a deck that I know we're fans of. And what I like to do is I like to pull this as a additional card or cards, depending on how I'm feeling. So I'm going to go ahead and ask the pendulum if we need to pull from this deck. So I want to know what spirits we can consult for a deeper answer in the next reading, or that I should consult. So do I need to shuffle the deck one more time? Yes. Should I pull 3 cards? No. Do I need to shuffle and only pull 1 card? Because that's what I'm getting. When I pull this card, do I need to read the meaning or interpret it on my own? Do I need to read the meaning in the book? I do not. So we're going to pull a spirit out of this deck that's going to resonate with both of us. So get ready. Decarabia. And the key word that's on the card is recuperation. So let's ask again. Is this a spirit that you would recommend we invoke? Will this spirit be a spirit that assists us in the work we're about to undergo, or that we need to investigate more on? Do I need to pull an additional card from the deck? No. And since I got no before, I have to trust my intuition and know that this is, for whatever reason, we need to speak to this spirit. Will the spirit give us a clue in the direction we need to go? Because it is our will that we wish to do, not the will of others. And what we seek is something that others are not going to seek because they will not have the guts to seek it. Can you show us how? Yes. Have you attempted to make contact with my friend? Are we both safe in making a pact, and will we be pleased with our pact and with what we wish to pursue? Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Well, thank you, Decarabia. We will be looking into you in the future. Whoops. And yes, I feel like this was a very, very good, very clear reading, and it helped me to make my decision. So I will be completing this work very soon, and you will know that the pack is sealed after I complete it, and then I will report back. So I hope this was helpful, and thank you so much for your inspiration. Thank you for your guidance, your help, and dark blessings.